BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
Welcome to Rice TVX and the latest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Joining me today is Jack Kochen, who is one of the co-founders of Vy.Finance. They are building decentralized finance on Cardano, and Vy.Fi are aiming to keep DeFi simple. Now, before we get into it, if this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Also, due to all the recent censorship, make sure you subscribe to my backup channel, Rice TVX2, the sequel. And I've also recently deleted more than half of my videos on my main YouTube channel, which means you can find 100% of my content plus exclusive videos over on Odyssey and Library. If you haven't already, be sure to visit ricetvx.com and sign up for the mailing list so that you never miss an update or new Rice TVX content. You can also find all my social media links as well as merchandise that is coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership, or if you'd like to send a direct contribution or tip, I have my Cash App information, PayPal, and my CoinTree link for cryptocurrency addresses listed below in the video description. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free half ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer, visit moneymetals.com, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get that free half ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. I will include links down below in the video description for everything I just mentioned, as well as everything that we talk about on today's show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on today's show is Jack Kochen. He is one of the co-founders of Vy.Finance. He's a good friend of mine, and I wanted to introduce his project, which is going to be launching very soon. But before we talk about what Vy.Finance, Vy.Fi is actually all about, let's kind of talk a little bit about who you are, Jack. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yeah, of course. Firstly, thank you for having me. This is a great show to be on. And I'm Jack Kochen from Vy.Finance. I'm the co-founder, and I'm also the director of marketing. And I'll have to get into this in a second, but I'm also the CIO of something called International Markets, which is a hedge fund that will be integrated into this DeFi. But, we'll get into that in a bit. And, I've just been in crypto for a long time. Got into it because people were talking about it. The technology seemed cool. I remember, people on 4chan just, sending some back and forth for, giggles. But, yeah, and as you know, I also know a bunch of, the great people. Somehow I made friends with, Joe Blackburn and all these people over the years. And they're all, they're just good people. There's so many good actual humans in crypto, and it's kept me around.
Well, you're part of the group of people that like to go out and actually be a part of the community, go out to conferences, events, and things to that effect. And I appreciate that, man. I know we've met a couple times, and we got to hang out recently in Miami at Shitcoin 2021. That was a pretty cool conference, and I think I actually still have one of the Vy.Fi lighters. You guys got stickers that you put on lighters?
Yeah.
That was good promo.
Yeah, right. And it fit really well, too, because, Shitcoin I loved Shitcoin, by the way. I thought it was so, it had such a decentralized atmosphere. And when there was centralization, there was transparency, which is how it should be. Shitcoin made me happy. And I would go outside and I saw there was, the smoker's corner. Every place has a smoker's corner. So I put them there. And I was like, oh, this is all coming together, serendipity right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And anytime that we know that Ken Bozak is going to be an event or putting on an event, you're definitely going to have more than one smoking corner. Actually, what you have is non-smoking sections.
Yeah, right. If anything.
It's so funny. And my only complaint, and I know a lot of people said this about the conference, is just the name. I get the name, but it's kind of abrasive when you're wanting to bring in people who
Yeah.
aren't necessarily in crypto. If you're in crypto, it works. But if you're trying to bring somebody who you're trying to introduce, they're like, well, why do I want to go to an event called shitcoin? But
Yeah.
like altcoin would have worked, but I get it. I totally get it, especially with the Bitcoin 2021 and the idea of what it represents. So I just
Yeah,
had to
and
deliver
I
my
was
perspective.
no, I mean that's great. It's spot on, man. And as you know, I mean I don't know if you know this. I was friends with Todd Blackburn, and I mean I still am. He's just retired, but he, I believe, is the maker of the term shitcoin. Because as long as I've been in crypto, I didn't hear it up until him, and that often. And I did some back research, and I couldn't find it anywhere else. And you know what? People like you and I, we know shitcoin means literally anything that's not Bitcoin, and it's not a bad word either. That's just
Right.
the term. Altcoins and shitcoins are synonymous. But you'll notice these newer people who came in like post 2017, they kind of think shitcoin means a bad thing. And it can. You can, it's the inflection. That's a shitcoin. Or it's just like, oh, that's a shitcoin. Then it could be like Litecoin. But
Right.
it could be like, yeah, no, it's exactly like you meant. It's just for new people, they might have thought that was a little bad, but also at least we're exposing them to the fact that like, hey, crypto's kind of carefree, all about your independence, like your power.
And getting away from the normals, the social norms that we're used to. So and that is another thing that I do appreciate about the crypto and blockchain community. So when did you actually get involved in crypto, and how and when did you get involved in crypto?
So the first time I ever did a transaction, I don't really remember. I think it was like early 2011, but the earliest I can actually prove was, I think it's a Circle Pay. Yeah, Circle Pay record from like 2011 or 2012, something around there. And I got into it just because I don't know, like I'm one of those people who someone's like, I'm not into cars, but if I see something cool enough about cars, I'll become passionate about it for like a month or something, really learn about it. And when I learned about crypto, I thought it was fantastic. But then, and this is just like the founder I work with, Steve, said, and we agree on this so well. Everyone does. It's just such a bigger thing than just money and like just trading and holding. It's like it's a community, it's a lifestyle in a way. And we've seen at the conferences, what with that decentralized dance party that just
Hmm.
walked around the streets. It's a way of life, and that's what I like about it. And it's a way of life that is centered around human freedom and individuality and autonomy. And it's like, it's a win-win, and you get money.
So well said. So well said. So
Win-win.
when was it? Win-win, but when was it that you got involved in crypto?
The first provable, like actual number I could get, and I could get you a screenshot even, would be, I think it's March of 2012, and that would be the Coinbase record. Because Circle
Okay.
Pay, they don't support crypto anymore, and I was tried to find the records and I couldn't find it. And what was that? That was just to have it. It was very cheap back then. Sent it around just to see if I could. So that was back in the days where sending took, or was it 2013? I don't remember when Coinbase launched. You see, that's how long it's been. But that was back in the days where you'd start a Bitcoin transaction and you'd get up and do something. It would be like starting up a computer way back in the day. So it's like you send your transaction to whatever website. I would just be doing it with like 4chan people with proof of concept, you know? Or there was something called Tor-chan, which is the Darknet 4chan. Same thing. Everyone was interested in Bitcoin. It was this cool new thing. And just sending it back and forth. But yeah, you would start that transaction. You would get up, you would leave. You would go to work, and you would come back like 5 hours later, and you'd see like 3 confirmations, and you're like, yeah, we're getting there. Just a matter of time. But
I
yeah, I'd
didn't
say like the
realize you got in so
2012.
early.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, it surprises a lot of people, especially because like I'm young. But I was just like, and I still am a nerdy person. I really appreciate like things, and this was one thing that I appreciated. I met all the people, and I was like, this is the thing, you
I
know.
love it. No, that's cool, man. It was for me. I mean, I had heard about it probably like in 2014, 2015. As you know, I'm a smoker, and until we saw some legalization in states with cannabis, some people used like the dark net or Silk Road to be able to obtain some things, and Bitcoin was the use factor in that. And but I didn't really actually take the deep dive and purchase until it was about March of 2017, which is still a little early, but a lot later than I wish I would have gotten in.
Well, that
But
was definitely the factor, though. Oh, sorry. Continue what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I was gonna say the shouldas, couldas, and wouldas are the things that we should not definitely be dwelling on because we're
Oh
gonna make a
yeah.
lot of mistakes, and we just need to learn from those mistakes. Most importantly.
Yeah, and what you were just saying about like the darknet and darknet markets, which we all know about, and there also was a foreign textile industries where they would just use it interchangeably, and the guy who bought it with pizza. When I saw that happen, I was like, okay, we got two multi-trillion-dollar industries, and now this guy actually did buy pizza through a middleman transaction, but still. And then I was like, this could actually be something now. Like people are using this. This is being exchanged. It's being used as a value of currency, and it was still there was even legal stuff. Like on some of those darknet markets was completely legal stuff, and that's why I like it's such a weird topic to talk about because then people think like, oh, you were doing all this illegal shit. No, you can go. I was exploring. I was looking around the internet. The darknet's a really
Yeah,
neat place. It's perfectly fine to just explore. And Bitcoin back then was this brand new thing. Like everyone's so calm with it now. Like what that like you would look at it and you'd be like, what is like how does this even work? You learned how it worked. You do a transaction. It would take half a day, and it was just it was fun to like explore. I really my main thing was just sending like test transactions back and forth with friends. I gave some Bitcoin, but I never held it. And like who would have at pennies? Like
I think your
I could
internet
see you
locked.
thought when it was pennies.
The
Like
internet slightly locked up for a second. It's okay.
oh okay, are we back?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool.
But you
It
were
was like
talking about
pennies, back
saving it for
then.
pennies. Yeah.
Yeah, so I never held it because that would be a little I don't know, I didn't think it would appreciate like it did, but it did. And it's impressive. And I'm very happy to see where it's come. Like, I was always hoping like I want to see this on like Amazon or like Steam. And next thing you know, like they were talking about it. I think it was on Steam for a little bit and they took it off. There was a
Well,
lot
at
of neat
least you're
stuff with
being
it.
honest about not holding it and your reasons why.
Oh yeah.
When did you actually smarten up and actually decide to hold the crypto that you possessed?
That would be so the way that I actually met all those like guys and stuff was right after college, I became a security officer. That's a great job, by the way. You just sit. And like a lot of the times, your existence is enough. And it's like one door that's huge. So the guy allows you to go on your laptop and you can study and do research. And that really helped with all this. And one of my coworkers was in a group of friends, like a Facebook group.
Okay.
And that's like long since gone and whatnot. And he actually left the group because he's now more into just regular stocks. But he got me involved with all of them, and that's how it just kind of like grew from there. That's like that's when I started actually investing. A little bit before I got involved with them. I remember I one of my first wins was XRP when it did its first big pump. I was like, I don't like Ripple, but banks are going to use it. I'll take the money from like that, sure.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with stacking Satoshi, stacking sats by trading coins that you don't necessarily believe in. I mean,
Yeah.
holding coins or hodling is different than trading.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if your goal is to get more Bitcoin and you don't have a lot of resources, trading on other coins is definitely a beneficial way. But I wouldn't recommend it to people who don't know what the hell they're doing because
Oh yeah, definitely not.
too many people try trading and acting like they have knowledge about it and just get wrecked. Unfortunately. Well, cool, man. That was a really good story, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I guess let's kind of move on to the topic of the conversation, which is Vy.Finance. When we had talked in Miami, you mentioned that you guys are building decentralized finance, DeFi, on Cardano. Being one of the first to do that. There's also a couple different first, and I'm going to be screen sharing here some various different websites and other social media links that'll be available in the video description. So make sure you're checking out this information on your own as well. But here is the website. You can find Vy.Fi.
New website coming soon, by the way, real quick.
That's cool. Thanks for
Yeah.
saying that. Yeah, because you said you guys are running up a Wix website, and
Yeah,
we'll be
we have a
sharing.
whole.
Mostly what we'll be sharing is the light paper. And you can find all this information. So I make sure that I'm on the right screen so I can. It's Vy.io.
Yes.
Vy.io. So are you guys going to be keeping the same URL? Just going to do a makeover
Yeah.
on the website?
We were thinking of getting Vy.Finance, but some Australian man bought it for a redirect a few years ago. Actually, we think that he did that like to get us to, buying and selling of
Buy it.
domains. So you can't can't blame the guy. It's a good, smart move. But
Yeah, I think
Vy.Fi.io is shorter. So
I think a friend of mine, and I don't know who it was, purchased ricecrypto.com and practicechange.com before I had a chance to, and I ended up not even using those domains. But I just thought it's crazy when people will take advantage of knowing that you had mentioned something that you're going to do and go and do it before you, so they can try to capitalize off of it, but not remain completely, not
yeah,
have it be transparent about who's doing it.
I was trying to be amicable too. We looked at the estimated value, and we offered him 3x. He was like, no. So we're like, all right,
Wow.
yeah,
It's crazy, but there's some big money in selling URLs. I know.
yeah. So it
I
is
was watching
respectable.
some Michael Saylor interviews, and Michael Saylor actually, back when the internet first started, went out and bought like a bunch of domain names of like everything that you would think that people would definitely want.
That was one of
And
the ways he made it, right? Selling those back.
I think that was part of what helped MicroStrategy after a couple years after it started to accumulate some, some revenue, but I don't think it was like the main source. He was involved in a couple different things, but he definitely had some really interesting successes and had made quite a bit of money by selling several different URLs. I mean, he would buy like love.com, friends.com, like anything that
Like
you
one
would.
words and stuff. That's
Yeah,
pretty
and
big.
then so that way it's kind of like owning words on the internet, is the way
Yeah.
he looked at it, kind of keeping rental space. So Vy.Fi is a new concept to decentralize finance, mixing a traditional hedge fund with the power of decentralization, also implementing a neural net in the crypto space to make everyone's DeFi needs as simple, accessible, and automated as possible. Now, before we talk about that, I was noticing some of the first on the website. We have the first crypto backed by proprietary trading firm, which is an international markets, the first crypto
Yeah.
to use neural net data collections for its liquidity pools, one of the first adopters to DeFi on the Cardano blockchain, and one of the first bridges to ERC20 and BSC, which is Binance Smart Chain from Cardano. So what I would ask you first is, what can you explain the first crypto backed via proprietary trading firm? How does that work? And then what is the neural net data collection that's used for liquidity pools?
All right, so with the backed via proprietary trading firm, that's like our shorthand way of saying our interaction with the hedge fund that we have. And right now it is just a proprietary trading firm. We're going through ASIC, right, which is the Australian. This is an Australian-based company. So we're going through ASIC to get our hedge fund license. And once we do that, we will have the offer where users could stake. They could stake to the managed money account, and we will then trade with their crypto. And so far, our returns have been satisfactory enough to offer it as a product, so we considered, hey, let's go with that, sure. And it's a hedge fund, so it could be a nice little like index in a way for people to look at. Maybe they want to go against the market or something. And as I'll get into in a second, we have a few different options. So this, like the hedge fund would be the good option for, let's say, if crypto's being weird and you're not sure what to do. Maybe it's going down. Maybe the hedge fund then. And then the neural net is an auto harvester. So what that'll do is, this is why we don't really have competitors. If any other DEX, their liquidity pool is data for us to use and then automatically stake users' Cardano, ADA, to that pool. And then what happens is, let me actually get it up because I wrote it down because it's always a big thing. Okay.
No problem.
The way we harvest it, here we go. We harvest it manually simultaneously. So we harvest all of these people's yield farms at once, right? And then
Okay.
this is kind of centralized, this process, but it will be 100% transparent. It's hard to make this decentralized. So because we have to then harvest simultaneously, throw it all into the auto harvester, and distribute the LP tokens based on what you already have. So imagine like SafeMoon. But this one is also an auto harvester. It's also looking for the best options on the Cardano chain, staking your coins to them for you. You don't have to worry about the 50-50 split and all that BS and all that gap of entry. And a big thing about our product is that we will have an LMS, a learning management system. That will be a whole education. It will be noob friendly. That is one of our goals, especially because Cardano, they just had a big opening up in Africa, unbanked masses, if you're unbanked, you got to learn not just crypto terms, but sometimes general trading terms as well. So we will have like beginner, medium, expert, or just, hey, I don't want to do that, give people the option to opt out. And it's just a data aggregator. And with the neural net, that's being made by our co-founder, or I'm the co-founder, by our founder's father. He works at Propella.ai. And what they do is, this isn't part of that, this is separate. What he does is he's a theoretical statistician, which is such a brilliant thing to say. I like it.
That's such a crazy title.
Right? And he is in like the upper echelon. I wanted to use a nice word with that title. So he's in the upper echelon of a consulting firm that works with like geospatial statistics and neural nets. All this stuff that I hear, and I kind of get like 50% of it, and I'm just like, big, impressive, like nice. And he's the guy who will be getting the neural net to look at all these liquidity pools, all these farms, stake to them for you, harvest for you, and compound for you. It would be very similar to many other types of, what's the term? Oh, I can't forget. I always forget what that term specifically because I confuse it with like 3 other terms. It's a token that a distributive token. There we go. I was about to say deflationary, but no, it's a distributive token. So you're getting it back. Like you see the LP token in your MetaMask, or it's probably not going to be MetaMask, but you'll see the LP token in your whatever. You'll look at it later. You'll see more tokens. That's not really normally done in this space. So that's a very unique thing with auto harvesters. It's a set and forget strategy because we are a DEX, but we're also a automated investment solution. So every other DEX and liquidity pool that people could consider to be our competitors are actually people that we can use our auto harvester to stake for and get benefits that help them, us, and the user. That's what I like about DeFi. It's the ultimate win-win for everyone.
Except for traditional finance.
yeah, except for the banks.
Yeah, which is the people who, the groups that we definitely are targeting and need to make obsolete. When you mentioned, certain parts of what you're doing with the project being centralized, I know like some people don't really fully understand the concept of decentralization and what it really fully entails, because there's a time and a place for decentralization and there's a time and a place for centralization. So it really depends on what you're doing. But what I would say that if the technology permits and as things progress, if there's ways of decentralizing those centralized ways, and it's beneficial, then I would definitely be working towards those aspects.
For
especially
sure.
when you're
Certainly.
dealing with the financial end, because of all the, the coming, I hate it, but all the coming regulation, all the
fully open source though too. Centralized, yes, but still you can read all the code without a doubt. Transparency is paramount to us.
Good, sweet. I love that, and I love the fact that you guys are trying to do something different and build on Cardano. It just, I guess, well, one, it gives you time because you guys can't really move forward until the Alonzo mainnet launches. So I know that you said the test net has is out and that you guys are running. Did you say you're running the DEX?
The liquidity pool. We have a test liquidity pool.
Okay, and it's running sweet?
Yeah, so far so good. And if you want to hear like some statistics of a pool that we ran on, we did another test pool because you got to get, it's a neural net. You need to feed it data so it can like learn and have generations.
Feed me.
Yeah, literally just shove data at it 24/7. So we have something on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, Binance Smart Chain is just the Ethereum chain with proof of work and centralization. So that's why we're not really there, 21 nodes, 16 of which are owned by one person, I believe. So it's still a solid chain. It's very fast. I mean, I'm using it right now on a few DeFis I'm a fan of, like Tree DeFi, great project. So we ran this auto harvester on it for a bit with the neural net in a very basic situation. It's not, it needs training. And we got a split. Let me get the numbers up right here just to be 100% accurate. Here we go. We got a split of 90% to 10%. So stable coins, Bitcoin. Stablecoins 90%, which for this kind of thing is very safe with that APR. And so this is the safest strategy that we developed. 90% stable, 10% Bitcoin on the BSC chain, wrapped Bitcoin, with 24% APR. So your APY could be higher if you compound that. And that's 90% stablecoins. So if you go and you look around at these stablecoin farms, seeing a 24% APR that's almost guaranteed is pretty fantastic. And that if we take stablecoins out of the equation, we can get to the riskier options, which will be offered.
Cool. Cool. And I want to just remind people that there's going to be, I'm even going to include a link right here for this Investor Place article about smart contracts being added to Cardano and how that could affect its market cap and its place in the crypto history. Because again, that is kind of what's dependent on the full launch of what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
They're using a weird language for sure.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you because it's obviously there's a lot going into your project. So explaining it, I appreciate that you want to make sure that you're fact checking yourself to make sure that you're not giving misinformation as well.
Exactly, and I should say real quickly, just to clear up any chance of misinformation, the neural net that will remain proprietary. However, the Oracle part that brings it onto the blockchain, all that will be transparent. But the neural net data itself is just, we need to have something to offer people. We have to protect our interests. It will become more public in time, of course, as with many things. But that will probably be the only thing on the platform that's actually proprietary.
Okay, that's cool, and that makes sense. Yeah. Now with the hedge fund stuff, how does that work? Is that going to be decentralized, or is that something that's going to have to involve centralization?
So this is like you were saying earlier, there's a time and place for both, and that's why I think this is so beautiful, and this is why I like Australia. So we use the DeFi here to get to a CeFi without KYC. So you can stake to a hedge fund, you can stake to our hedge fund's managed money account, and right now we're a prop firm, so those are the people we currently have under us. That number is not dynamic, but it is pretty close actually. So you can stake to our hedge fund, and we do the work for you, just like participating in a regular hedge fund. However, I don't need your license, you just need to sign in with your MetaMask. So that's we're very happy that that's even possible. Will it remain possible forever? I have no idea. So, but for the time being, the way crypto works in Australia and the way the hedge fund license work, you would be able to stake Vy.Fi to the hedge fund, and then in response to that, we would give you we would deal with the managed money, like a hedge fund would, and you get your return back as Vy.Fi. The only catch, though, is we have to keep it in crypto. We are not a money transfer business, meaning we cannot, I think there's a separate word in Australia, we cannot take your crypto, sell it into cash, and then buy stocks. That's not allowed. So, but we can still mess around with crypto, and I would say we have pretty good returns. I would have to get Steve, we're having a beautiful chart come out soon, so I don't want to say numbers until the beautiful chart's out and all pretty, so, but it is going good enough for me to say confidently on a camera and stuff that it's going well.
Do you know a lot about hedge funds, or is this something that's new for you?
It's definitely newer to me. But I know how they operate. They hedge against the market. And I've always liked that idea because sometimes you look at the market and you're just like, screw the market. So the way these hedge funds work, especially in Australia, where the regulations are a little bit different, they're more strict in some areas and more free in others. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting topic. And no, I would say actually, to be 100% clear, I'm not that experienced with hedge funds. I'm more experienced with just marketing, developing projects. As you know, I've worked with a bunch of these people here and there, on projects as consulting, all this. I love solving problems. So the hedge funds thing is new to me, but I'm also, the reason I'm asking, I love learning, so I'm excited.
I like learning too. And the reason I'm asking is because I kind of lost my train of thought there. We were talking about
the hedge fund. The hedge fund. Dude, I have a notepad because
I know we talked about that. I've been looking at the difference of public versus private and law versus legal, and doing private trusts, private societies, and the idea of private hedge funds. Because I think that there's some regulation in the United States that's coming that could cause a lot of problems with some hedge funds, if I'm not mistaken. I think some of it might be related to the GameStop stuff that was going on with the Wall Street bets.
I think it has to do with uncovered shorts, perhaps. I'm not too updated on that. But, at the same time, we have it's such serendipity, man, how, on stupid glasses, there we go. It's serendipity, serendipitous.
I love that word.
Yeah, right. It's such a great word. And the definition's just so perfect too. Just everything falls into place. And so with these Australians, they don't really have that regulation as bad. And because of a treaty between US and Australia, we can just be like, oh no, we're an Australian company, so we just do it that way. We can't ICO to Americans real quick just to get that out there. I don't
Are
think
you
any
guys going to
company
be
really
doing an
can.
ICO?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
We
not
we
going to be
looked at
like a fair
IDOs.
launch.
We looked at IDOs and we determined that they weren't really that fair in the long run. Someone could just swipe it all up. We looked at ISOs and determined that they weren't really that fair in the long run. Same reason. If anyone puts a lot of money in, they become the dominant holder.
No,
So what
what's
we
an
did was a
ISO, like
pre-sale,
an international like initial
staking,
stock
initial staking offer. Yeah, yeah. So you like
Okay.
stake to a farm, and that's how you
I've
get
heard
it.
the dexes and the exchanges. I haven't heard the staking offering.
Yeah, that's kind of a newer one, and I see some projects are doing that with an ERC20 token. But yeah, no, we're doing an ICO because honestly, I have so much experience with doing ICOs in 2017. I think they're perfect, and I don't see many flaws with them if you just do them correctly. That you don't want to let a whale get a stranglehold. Nobody wants that. Neither you or me or any user there would want that, especially because we will have governance. So
Yeah.
he would just be the decision maker. So the ICO as it stands is going to be an ICO as ICOs are CeFi, sadly. They have to be, I have to give a transaction. Well, they could be DeFi if the smart contracts are up,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
right. It's a catch 22.
Yeah, but people want the tokens. So we were like, we'll just do an ICO. We don't feel safe doing an IDO or an ISO. We have debated putting a cap on the ICO just for the beginning to try to get the decentralization as decentralized as possible in the money perspective. Because the programming decentralization we have full control over. However, the market, we have no control over how decentralized it is.
Right.
So ensuring that it stays and remains decentralized is paramount because we can do that with the project. We're programming it to be decentralized. But, humans just kind of do things. So you always got to be prepared for humans.
Yeah, humans, man. It's like that. The flaw, it seems like, in the world
Yeah, right?
today.
We just
Human
do
error.
things. It's
Human
entertaining,
error.
honestly.
So with the token launch, is that going to be closer to the time period of the DEX launch? Like you're going to try to make it
Yeah.
all like simultaneous, maybe a little before, a little after?
We're thinking mid this month because the decks would be at the earlier end of next month.
Okay.
We're just making sure that it's going to be, we don't want to do an ICO and then here, oh, there's a delay. So we're just making sure for one final word, I guess, and another update to the Alonzo testnet, just so we know for a fact things are going according to schedule, things are going according to plan.
Okay. Now, I know that before we started recording, you mentioned to me because there's Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, IOHK are like pretty much well known for delays and
Yeah.
which I really respect a lot of the projects that don't give dates because a lot of times you can't make the dates. So instead of just becoming a meme in that aspect, so we're looking at potentially the end of September, and that may possibly get delayed too. So
Fingers crossed, we're hoping. But
now I definitely what I wanted to do is kind of introduce the idea. If people are interested in participating in the ICO, you're saying that United States residents cannot?
There will be, let me say it this way. There will be an IP wall for United States IPs.
Okay. So that means it would be blocking.
Yeah. Well, you would still get to the site, but it would say you're an American. If we sell to you, we can get in some deep trouble.
Right. So if somebody chooses to use a VPN, that would not be something that you would encourage, but somebody using a VPN could potentially have a different location and be able to. Maybe I'm getting in a line that you shouldn't even answer.
Yeah, kind of no comment, but also kind of that's the beauty of DeFi.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of crypto and blockchain. Okay, so if people are interested, I'll have contact information down below, links for the website, and
come to a conference. You'll see Chris and I. We'll be hanging out. Come to any conference that when's the next one you're going to, by the way? MCE2?
NFT NYC. I'm going to that. I'm going to be speaking.
Ooh, okay. That. You'll be in my state. There we go.
So I'll be speaking. I think that's October or November. I can't remember. Maybe
it's November. I'm actually maybe hosting an NFT thing on Halloween right before that.
Second, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's awesome, man.
Wayne Marcel, Blockchain Wayne's got another event coming up. I'm still trying to figure out the timeline.
I think it was just confirmed recently, but yeah, to anyone watching this, you can see us at these places. Chris and I are very present people in the crypto space, I would say. We're around.
Yeah.
And there are some, I would definitely say to people new to crypto, watch out. There are some people in crypto who are brilliantly smart and awful people, and that's a bad combo. But there's also a lot of humans, like people down to earth. They just want to like do their own thing and have some property and be left alone. And that's
So
just
it's
all
the
they want. Can't hate that.
it's the Miami. What's the name of the conference?
Miami Crypto Experience 2. It'll have like two
Miami
eyes.
MCE2. Okay, so Miami Crypto Experience. I missed that. That's where Ken and crew came up with the idea for the shitcoin
Yeah,
2021. I messaged Wayne. He said it's November 10th through 12th. I messaged him just a couple of days ago. So MCE2, I'll be at that November
definitely be
10th
at
and
that.
12th.
We'll have
So
a booth as well.
November 1st and 2nd in New York at NFT NYC, and then the 10th through 12th of November in Miami for MCE2. So hopefully I'll see you at both. And
Yeah,
and
man.
then maybe depending on time frame, because that could be putting us around the time period that Alonzo could actually launch the main net.
Oh, could we do like a face to face?
We
Like
could.
yours,
That's what
that
I'm
that
saying.
that could be cool.
It may be possible. But
I like
either
it.
way, if it doesn't work out to being timing wise, I want to bring you back on when it's closer to the launch time
Oh
or
yeah,
right as you
thanks
guys
for having
launch.
me. I'd love to.
Yeah. And this way it kind of gives people a little bit of idea what to expect, because I mean DeFi is something that a lot of people are interested in. I like the idea that the website says where DeFi is simple, and I like the idea that you're building on Cardano. So I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to have to stay up to date and pay attention to what's happening to the project.
And like I hate hype marketing, so I'm actually very proud that I can actually say auto harvester, bar. The bar, by the way, I never brought up yet. That's just you stake to that, you share from the entire ecosystem. So crypto's trending sideways, stake to the bar. You'll just be chilling. But yeah, so
Could you define, just for people who are not really crypto savvy, as to what auto harvesting is? And on the
oh
website,
yeah,
does this
that is a
link work?
one. No, it doesn't work yet. It did work in the past, but the
Okay.
article that we redirected to actually just isn't there anymore. We think they
Oh,
just changed the URL. So we just got to
okay.
re-navigate that website now. However, we're going to be making our own, with the learning management system and all that, to really introduce people to this on a step-by-step basis based on the level of experience that they choose that they have. So an auto harvester in the most basic bare form, I'll just explain the steps. And keep in mind, a lot of these steps you won't have to do on our platform because that's one of our goals. And if you want the ability to do these steps, there will be an opt-out because, of course, we want to give power to the user. So an auto harvester, what it does is you stake your Cardano to it, not Vy.Fi. There might be a Vy.Fi option, but currently we're thinking in Cardano. And then what it will do is it will take your Cardano for you, and it will invest it into liquidity pools, which are basically how these decentralized exchanges get the ability to be so instant and useful, and to do such transactions too. And by providing to these liquidity pools that these exchanges need, they need it, so they give you a reward back. That's the incentive. That's what we're doing as well. That's the staking reward. That's liquidity pools. We will just have a generic one like Vy.Fi USDT or whatever, But what this does is it automates it. And then a neural net comes in, which is a computer that trains itself over and over and over and gets generations, just like with human, like generations of kids in a way. And
Okay.
each one is more refined to a specific task. And what you do is you cull it. You go, that generation's smarter than that generation, so we're going to keep that one, and we're going to go down. And we're starting right now at just a random tree or a random forest, which is like a sub-neural net in a way. It's a good way of getting data. But what this will do is it will look at all of these liquidity pools that I was just talking about, those little things for the dexes across the chain. It'll look at each one, and it'll use its data to say, this one has really good volume, momentum. I'm liking its return. It looks like it should hold that for a bit. We're going to stake to that for X amount of time. X being completely variable, it can change. It might say, actually, that one's better now. So we're going to go to that liquidity pool for
Yeah.
you. Normally, if you want to join a liquidity pool, it's kind of a pain. You got to like get 50% of each token and do a little math in your head sometimes, or get out the calculator tool. And then you got to, if they do the 50-50 swap thing, then you got to stake it there, get the LP token. And if you want to farm, you have to then put that LP token in another thing. And new users look at that. Some people are probably hearing this right now, like, what the hell?
No, it's
So we just
complicated as
made
hell,
a
man.
button. So we just made a button. Low risk, medium risk, high risk, or like checkbox, I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, because no, I mean, I'm glad that you guys are doing that, because it is to go
Set and
from all
forget.
these different things, it's a lot to learn. And that is one of the things
Yeah.
that, sucks about, these newer innovations, is having to work through these kinks to get to the ways to make it simpler. I don't know if you remember some of the first dexes that were out, like the Atomic Swap and Komodo, which were like
Ether Delta.
peer to peer.
Oh,
Where there
the
was
peer-to-peer
where
ones.
there was
Oh yeah. Oh my
I
God.
like the idea of the liquidity pools and such, and yield farming. And I do like the idea of peer to peer. It'd be awesome to find a way to sort of combine that, because that's the only thing that sucks with the peer to peer.
Yeah, America hates that too.
Because you got to wait for somebody on the other end. It reminded me of when I used to download music like on LimeWire, and I was looking for some obscure song from some obscure artist that like maybe like some random time like that I'm sleeping, if I would sign on, somebody on the other side of the world would have that file so I can actually download it.
You can open chat with them.
On,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, but as I say, if somebody wasn't actively on and you didn't have a way to contact them, you just wouldn't be able to download any files because there's no actual.
Yeah,
peer.
I mean, torrenting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've been like waiting on a file sometimes, and then you can tell the dude like woke up and he's got 100%. You're like, thank God, man.
Yeah,
I love torrenting. Really neat peer to peer.
Awesome. I really love the way technology's advanced.
Right? It's really cool how torrenting works and all of that. It's beautiful. It's like this. It's the stuff you and I, as crypto-minded people, believe in. Yeah,
100%. Now, I guess before we wrap up today's video, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or add about Vy.Fi, or any final thoughts?
The only thing that I would really say is just that users, like the one thing I didn't really go into is the learning management system, which I won't go too far into, because that's also the thing that will probably be coming last. By holding Vy.Fi, users will have access to something that will either spoon feed information to them if they choose that they're very new to crypto or not, and it will literally be baked into the website. It'll be like, oh, click here to do this. So I also do volunteer work with Aurochs. And Aurochs has an example of a tutorial baked into the website where there's like an arrow that says like click here to do this, and then step 2, come up here and do all this. It's going to be very similar to that, and there might even be like we don't want to really give people money here like crazy just for learning. That's like a weird incentive, but we do think there will be a reward and whatnot. And we're going to do it via an LMS, which is it's a neat way to go about it, which is just it's a software that helps and manages learning.
Cool. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well,
because it's difficult,
I'm definitely going to be keeping up to date with what's going on with Vy.Fi, and keep me up to date with the ICO and the launch, and again, if it works out where timing wise, when we're in New York or Florida together, hopefully we can, we could definitely do something in person, but hopefully it could be something that would be beneficial to what Vy.Fi is about. But dude, awesome. I really appreciate your time. If you can bear with me 1 second, again, we're going to do a follow-up, as we mentioned. Links will be down below for everything I talked about, so I encourage you to explore Vy.Finance. And if this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. If you're already subscribed to the main channel, be sure you're also subscribed to the backup channel, Rice TVX2, the sequel, which exists due to censorship, because I got a second strike a couple weeks ago. Couldn't put out videos for 14 days. I got a little sad about it, but I'm good now, and here we are. So thanks again for tuning in. As always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change.